passionate about producing new knowledge and producing new research. And really, it's the sparkle that I see in people's eyes when I engage with them, when we talk, when we problem solve. That's what keeps me going.
This morning is Reem El Sharif, a seasoned strategist and socioeconomic developer with nearly a decade of experience in corporate strategy, national strategy, and research. She currently leads strategy at RMB Namibia, one of the leading Pan-African corporate and investment banks. She is a PhD candidate in development at the University of Stellenbosch. She also holds a master's degree in finance from the University of Leicester and a bachelor's with honors from the British University in Egypt, validated by Loughborough University in the UK. Outside an exceptional career, Rim is an avid traveler and loves to experience other cultures and a huge foodie. She also enjoys the mindfulness of yoga and the adrenaline of high-intensity training. A bit of a mouthful there. Good morning, Rim. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate your time, which is very valuable. You're not going to be billing us, are you?
No, I mean, it depends.
Tell us a bit about your childhood, who you are, how that shaped the woman that you are today.
Yeah, no, first of all, thank you so much for having me.
Right.
So my parents moved to Namibia in the early 90s. So I was raised here, but I'm obviously Egyptian by descent, and I was born there. I'm not a fan of labels, and things like that, and like economist, an immigrant, and so on.
Right.
But there was always this like tug of war between the culture and the values that you're born in versus the culture and the values that you're raised in.
Right.
But I'm very grateful to have been raised in a household that allowed me to explore, that gave me all the liberation that I needed, and allowed me to experience different things as well. But it also kept me connected to my ancestors, if you'd like to say. So that really shaped who I am, because it kept me grounded in my values. And you sort of like learn and you self-teach yourself discipline, basically. Right. And you stay convicted, and that really served me well as I grew up, and served me well in my early career, because you really learn the skill to filter out what's right for you, what's right for your personality, what's right for your values and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm also like very grateful for the sacrifices that my parents made to give my brother and I the best education that we could have. And I was privileged enough to attend one of the best schools here in Windhoek.
Right.
And beyond just the basic, education and subjects like math and science and blah blah blah, we really like learned life.
Right.
We learned how to have like deep conversations. We learned how to deal with different people from different backgrounds and different cultures. And now the best leaders are those that they don't only introduce diversity into an entity, but they know how to manage it. They know how to shape their teams in a diverse way for the best outcome of the entity or the organization.
Right.
But we also we used to pick up litter every single day or every week. We used to learn about, energy efficiency. And now the world is talking about ESG. So I'm very grateful for that.
When you were a kid, were you a handful or two? If I call you father today, I'm like, was she a problem child? What do you think you would say?
The perks of being the youngest sibling is that, you get to see what the older sibling is doing. You're like, maybe I shouldn't do that, or maybe I should do it, but hide it.
Yeah, you could get away with a lot of things.
But I was very strong-minded, and I was very argumentative. I still am argumentative. Go put that in the cupboard. I'm like, why? I was that type of.
You were that kind of baby.
I was that kind of baby. I always love to ask why. People get uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, which is good. I think we should get comfortable with asking why. Somebody said, do something. Why?
Why do you want me to do it?
Yeah. So as a budding little girl, what was your biggest dream when you were growing up? What was that one thing like, oh my word, this is something that I wanted to do?
Yeah. When they used to ask 5-year-olds what they want to be when they grow up.
Right.
I never had an answer to that. And I look at my peers being like, I want to be a doctor. Right. I want to be a policeman. And I look at them funny, do you really at 5 years old?
No.
I never had an answer. I didn't have a profession in mind. it's not because of like lack of ambition, but it's just because I had a different vision for myself. So I envisioned myself to be a very influential woman, that will walk in very important corridors and will solve very important world challenges.
Right.
So that's sort of what I envisioned for myself, and it's really like all in the how. Like how do you manifest this vision? And you know, growing up, I was surrounded by like many calamities. I mean, every day we would read and hear the news about the apartheid in Palestine or the war in Iraq. You know, I'd see poverty and inequality everywhere, and I thought, you know, this cannot be life.
Right.
And like I mentioned, it was all in the how. So knowing what's happening in my environment, what is my role in this? How can I influence and have a positive impact? And so first I thought, you know, academia is the right way to go.
Yeah.
I want to influence young minds. And which was great. It served me really well. Like, I really enjoyed it. I'm still in contact with some of my students and they still touch base with me. And even as like that part of my life ended, you know, I really felt that I made a great impact on them. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to an international organization because that's where they do it. That's where the real change happens.
Right.
And then I moved to an international organization for a short like stint, and it was exceptional. It was amazing exposure. And that's where you start to really learn and dig about what's sustainability, you know, how do worlds and economies go about it. And it was an exceptional, you know, time in my life. But then, you know, I'm always looking for that extra challenge. And I was like, you know what, let me go into the real economy because that's where the real problem solving happens. And so far, you know, it's working for me.
Yeah.
But in essence, in all of that, just to manifest that vision of being an influential woman, I decided back in the day that I'm going to study business and finance.
Right.
Because I felt that beyond just traditional, you know, organizations making profit, I felt that organizations had a bigger purpose in the economies that they operate in. And I'm not passionate about like how, you know, finance, how, you know, the stock changes move or the stock markets move and etc. But I'm passionate about how finance drives economic development.
Yeah.
And I'm passionate about producing new knowledge and producing new research. And really it's the sparkle that I see in people's eyes when I engage with them, when we talk, when we problem solve, you know, that's what keeps me like going.
What's that one thing people get wrong about you?
That's a difficult question.
Yeah.
But I think initially people get the impression that I'm quiet, and that, you know, I'm not to say that I'm a difficult personality but, you know, people, when I challenge them, they get surprised.
They get surprised.
Yeah, they get surprised.
Vibes are here and it's looking positively zesty. One Africa wants to see how you spread positivity in your life. There's $10,000 up for grabs in the Show Us Your Summer Zest competition. Record a zesty short video or reel showing how you spread positivity. Upload it to your favorite socials and tag us, or upload it to oneafrica.tv and you can stand a chance to win. Show us your summer zest. For more information and T's and C's, visit oneafrica.tv.
We're joined by Reem El-Sharif. She is an absolute phenomenal woman, doing the absolute most. You know, we touched a bit on what people tend to get wrong about you, and it's that being challenged. Just to pivot a bit, when you wake up in the morning, what sets your heart on fire?
Sure, that's a very deep question.
Yeah.
For me, it's still that my self-defined purpose, that I want to influence positive change and positive impact. and it's still that vision that I had in my mind when I was a little girl that like keeps me going, and that's what like really wakes me up every day. Obviously in this cold it's very difficult, but we move. So I always keep the bigger picture in my mind, and I always listen to my inner child, you know. What did like little 5-year-old Reem want for herself? And that's what really gives me the kick. But you know, as you experience new things, you also see, you know, what really energizes you. And for me, like I said earlier, it's seeing the little stars in people's eyes sparkle when I engage with them, when I produce new insights through my research, through my publications, or even when we're problem solving together. And, you know, because I believe so much in diversity, so it's just the notion of person A brings a different, you know, experience, and I bring a different experience, and that's how we unlock value and unlock potential.
We are running out of time. Just quickly, briefly, this is something that I didn't want to put to you. What are some of your early influences and just some people or circumstances or situations that really just influenced the life that you lead today?
Yeah, I guess I'm very lucky to have been associated with institutions where the people I worked with, they were great mentors, they were great coaches, they were even great sponsors. And they really impacted how I think about life. I was very lucky that they were open enough to transfer their knowledge and transfer their skills to me. And listen, like no one's career path is a straight line. Like mine was like a buzzing bee, you know? And so it's really those ups and downs in your experiences that really influenced me and shaped me. And I learned how to deal in different situations, whether positive or negative, deal with different psychologies as well. And I had exceptional exposure at such a young age, which I'm very grateful for, that allowed me to like develop and nurture my leadership.
Before we let you go, if there's a young woman and man listening to you right now, and you did touch a bit on it, and you preempted me a bit there, just expound on that. Any life or career advice you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. And I can write a book about it. But I think be open to learning. Stay convicted in your vision and what you see for yourself. People told me all the time, you can't move from academia to corporate. And I was like, guess what? I did it.
Hold my
Opportunities come for those that pursue them. Nothing will ever be given to you at a silver platter. Doors will open if you pursue them. Be realistic about your expectations. And really, your work ethics and your work values is what will differentiate you in this talent pool.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm so sorry we don't have no more time for you, but thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great.
More male clients actually getting the manicures and pedicures and facials done.
There were times where there was pressure.
I sometimes feel like I'm getting paid for doing nothing because I love what I do so much.
Not everybody's going to do it through the schooling system.
So writing and reading were things. Reading, I did a lot. At one point in my life, I used to do those challenges of reading like 3 books a month.
Our Royal Hustler this morning is Selma Kaulinge, Manager for Communications and PR at Nedbank Namibia. Selma has a career which spans 10 years across the fields of journalism, public relations, and corporate communication. Are you guys ready for this? She graduated in 2012 from the University of Namibia, JUNAM, with a Bachelor of Arts degree honors in media studies with the majors in PR and art for advertising. During her career, she has worked as a journalist at The Villager, the Namibian Sun, as well as the Namibian newspaper, and later combined her arts and PR disciplines when she worked at the National Art Gallery of Namibia. As the PR and communication officer, Selma has... this is a lot, young. Selma has her first experience of working at a multinational when she took up the position as the corporate communication officer at MultiChoice Namibia. Selma started working at Nedbank Namibia in 2017, December of that year, as the communication specialist. And in 2021, she was promoted to her current role where she manages the communication and PR at Nedbank. Selma, is there anything you are not doing? You're just here, world domination. You just said, guys, hold my beer. I'm taking over the world. Good morning, Selma.
Morning, how are you?
I'm absolutely
I came
great.
to wake you up now. Yeah. I came to shukusha things here since you want to sleep.
Great to have you.
Thank you so much for that introduction.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. We're giving you your flowers now.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're getting your flowers now. So, Selma, we really just want to know the woman behind all of this. Who you are, how you are. How would you describe your childhood and how it has shaped the woman that you are today?
Okay, my childhood, while I grew up, I was born in the north. I grew up in Windhoek, did primary school, high school, university, so I'm really just a Windhoeker. Grew up here, I have a very big family. I have 6 sisters, so I'm second last. So my sisters really, my family really has a very big impact on me. Obviously, growing up with women only also that has impacted me. But also my father had instilled in us very confidence, trying to go after what you want, and also very much spiritual because he is a pastor.
Right.
So that has shaped me. I think my mother raised us to be independent, to have a voice. So I think all that has shaped the person I am today.
Your father had 6 daughters.
Yes, imagine.
Were you a handful at any point? Were you a good child, or were you one? Were you
I was, yeah.
a hair raiser?
No. I don't think too much. And they say pastors' kids are like hair raisers, like you say, but not really. I think I was in between. I mean, a teenager is a teenager, so you're gonna do teenage things. But
right.
I think, yeah.
So growing up, and 6 siblings. 5 other siblings. What was your biggest dreams when you were growing up? Like, what was that thing you're like, this is something I absolutely need to get to?
I think when I grew up, I always wanted to be a writer. So writing and reading were things. Reading I did a lot. At one point in my life, I used to do those challenges of reading like 3 books a month. Nowadays with social media, that has gone out the door. But
Right.
So I read a lot and I love writing. I love telling stories. I love everything about stories. So when it comes to movies, theater, plays, where a story is told, that's really my passion. And that's how I probably got into writing, I would say.
Let me put you on the spot quickly. Your favorite author of all time?
Oh, there's so many for different reasons.
What's your go-to book? The one book that you like read? What? Okay.
That's an easy answer.
That is an easy answer.
There's so many authors for different reasons.
Right.
Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison. Then you get obviously the 90s thriller, crime thrillers like the John Grishams and the James Pattersons.
Right.
And then there's so many. And then obviously the more spiritual Eckhart Tolle maybe.
Right.
So different authors, just like movies, different movies for different
reasons.
For different reasons, yeah.
My Father, in Jesus Christ's name, you said in your word, ask and you shall receive.
Before coming to the church, my life was miserable.
My life today, it's amazing.
Only you can make this change to be possible in their life. So I pray right now, may your power begin to touch them, my God.
In studio this morning, our Royal Hustler is Selma Kaulinge. She is the communication specialist at communications and PR. Selma, you are one of 6 daughters raised by your father was a pastor, and you just had quite an interesting childhood there. But let's pivot a bit. What motivates you on a daily basis when you hit the ground running in the morning? What sets your soul on fire?
There's so many things that motivate me. Sorry for having the same answer. I mean, it depends on the day, it depends on everything. I think I'm a very person who's self-motivated. So I think doing what I love motivates me. So it's easy for me to get up and do stuff. Working with people that are the people that I work with. yeah, so there's different things that motivate you and keep you challenged. Challenges also motivate me. I'm one of those people that if someone says you're not going to be able to do it, I'm probably gonna.
I will show you.
Yes, I will show you.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So challenges motivate me. In the last year, obviously we had COVID, and that was very hard, especially mentally. So stuff like simple things now motivate me. You know, I mean, after COVID, you have to look at the simple things, like obviously family, just being around people that are of likeness and like-mindedness, you know what I mean? I think after COVID, people have been looking internally for motivation and for encouragement, and I think that's also where I am.
What would you say is that one thing people get wrong about you? If at all?
I don't know.
Or you just don't pay much attention to people?
I probably sound, and I probably sometimes look a bit laid back. Like, I'm very laid back. People say, like, oh, you're so laid back, which I am, but I think I'm also a go-getter. I go after what I want. So maybe that, yeah.
So we are out of time, but before I let you go, if there's any young woman, any young man, any of our listeners listening to us right now, any life or career advice that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I think the one thing I would advise is just for people to listen to themselves. I think everybody has the answers within you.
Right.
I know the world is loud, and social media and parents wanting you to do what they want you to do. I think if you really quiet down and listen to really your heart, your answers are really in your heart. And then also just work hard for your dreams. They don't just come there. You have to work hard.
You have to work hard.
Yeah.
Someone saying...
No, that's it.
That's it?
Yes.
Listen to your heart. Very sound words there from Selma Kaulinge, who manages the communications and the PR at Nedbank Namibia. Selma, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate this time, and it's so good to see you where you are, to just really be part of your journey, and we're giving you your flowers. We're celebrating you today. 99 FM loves you. I'm laying it on really thick this morning. I'm going to stop now.
Thank you so much. I love 99 FM also, so yeah, feeling is mutual. Thank you so much for having me.
There we go. Selma Kaulinge was our Royal Hustler for this morning. You can catch this interview or this conversation on our app. Download it, get it. It was a very, very beautiful conversation.
At the start of the end, here comes your white knight. Got a foot on the edge, looking over the ledge, and everything will be just fine, turning inside out, falling out of time. If it's the final story, it's death and glory, and tomorrow the sun will rise and we'll start over again. We'll write a different story. let you go. I'll never let you go. Mohonandagi, Wanjipumasa, Inekwasa, Mekambura movie, Overike, Jumping Dangi, yeah, Govinavi. Never let you go.